The Consumer Financial Protection Bureau has issued a new report titled Challenges in Rural Banking Access. We're talking about it here because some of the key findings hit on some of the hot topics on this channel, credit and medical debt. And we'll look at those one at a time. And then we're going to talk about a new Consumer Financial Protection Bureau initiative, the Rural Initiative, and what that means. Let's talk about some of those key findings in the report. First, they found that rural communities are more likely to be banking deserts, that rural consumers pay more for credit, and medical debt affects access to credit, housing, and employment for rural consumers. In that credit space, they said rural consumers are more likely to have no credit history at all. They also rely more on loans from small community banks or non-bank entities. Rural consumers also have lower incomes and higher rates of poverty. And all of these factors combined mean that rural people are paying more for credit. Rural consumers are not well served by online banking, and in-person banks are moving out of smaller communities. The impact of medical debt is pretty big in rural America. Unpaid medical bills are more common in areas of the United States with significant rural populations. Healthcare and insurance costs are usually higher in rural communities, and the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau is concerned that medical debt is unfairly affecting credit scores of rural consumers. And in a separate report, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau questioned whether medical debt should even be included on credit reports in the first place. Let's talk about that rural initiative. Last month, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau launched a rural initiative to focus on the particular needs of rural communities. And they said they're going to do a couple things. First, they're going to conduct research to fill the data gaps on rural communities. Do they just need to know more of the landscape of rural America? They're going to gather input from rural workers, farmers, small business owners, and others, and they're going to work with other federal agencies to protect rural communities from bad actors in the financial sector. In a statement, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau says they have a responsibility to pay attention to the particular challenges that rural communities face as they work to build and maintain their financial resiliency. They say that the agency wants to help rural communities achieve their economic potential. You can read more out of the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, this report, and also that rural initiative. We link to both in the description below.